What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be talking about Daisy Ridley again. I know I did a video on her a couple days ago, but like I said in, previous videos, the sooner or the closer we get to the new Rise of Skywalker Star Wars movie coming out, Disney fan fiction Star Wars, the more open the actors and, the people that worked on the movie are going to be. It's very telling in the interviews, that they're almost done. They're almost free of Disney Star Wars. All these actors and actresses, they're being open about never wanting to be involved in a Star Wars movie again. They're being open about, not knowing too much about Star Wars, not caring too much about Star Wars before they got cast. And, Daisy Ridley did this whole GQ interview, which was the video I covered a few days ago. And in it, she kind of talked about how she didn't know too much about Star Wars before she got cast. And, it was just this big opportunity, big blockbuster film. Oh, yeah, let's be in Star Wars. But then she was doing an interview, another one. And in this interview, the interviewer asked her something about how the difference between her, career as an actress and the opportunities that she was presented with, how it was different from her fellow co-stars. For an example, like John Boyega, because both of her and John Boyega grew up in London. They have very, very different backgrounds. And Daisy's response was that she didn't have privilege, that she wasn't more privileged than him. And the internet lost their minds. All these crazy SJWs, all these crazy Raylors that have been behind Daisy, they're like, no, Daisy's perfect, Daisy can do no wrong. All of a sudden, they all turned on her. In her eyes, oh, well, because she's a white woman, oh, now they don't like that, what she's saying, comparing to, John Boyega, a black man. Now, that being said, in that interview, the GQ interview, not the one that we're talking about where Daisy said the privilege thing, but the interview that she did a few days ago that I covered in a video, in that interview, it's, Daisy, her grandfather, he's pretty big in the industry. Daisy grew up in a really nice neighborhood in London, but she says, oh, it wasn't the nice house. It was out of the entire neighborhood, it was the crappy house in the neighborhood. I'm like, all right, you live in the nicest neighborhood, in one of the nicest neighborhoods in London, but you live in the crappy house. All right, you want to know why? It's because your parents had 5 freaking kids. Your parents had 5 kids, which they sent all to boarding schools, all to expensive boarding schools. Daisy went to a performing arts boarding school since she was a kid. She graduated from a performing arts school. And you want to talk about the difference between that as compared to John Boyega, who I think he had fundraised so that he could go into theater programs. His parents were immigrants from Nigeria. Very different background than growing up in a nice neighborhood in London and, getting to go, have all those opportunities, having those connections to the industry because your grandfather was in it, your parents are involved. Pretty big difference, but there's a bunch of tweets. We're gonna go look at them because it's hilarious to see the way that these people will just turn on you. They're just like hyenas, so let's go check these out. Alright everyone, so I have all these tweets pulled up. So this is from an account called Data Racer. Data Racer is really good about doing their research. If you want to be up to date on everything that's going on, in the Star Wars land, all the ridiculous tweets that go out, all, the little highlight clips of articles. This is a really good account to follow. I'd highly recommend it. But let's go look at this. And, this is a perfect example of exactly what I was talking about. SJWs are trying to cancel Daisy Ridley because she denied having white privilege. SJWs eat their own. And it's 100% true. They are like hyenas. They don't care. They will prey upon the weak. They will circle you. They look up to you. Oh, kind of like in The Lion King. Oh, Scar. It's Scar. We'll succumb to Scar. Scar can do no wrong. But then the second, Scar's fallen, Scar's weak, they eat you, they prey on you. So let's look at all of this compilation of tweets. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Daisy Ridley faces backlash over privileged comments, hoping she could learn from her ignorance. Ridley was asked if her background, including private boarding school, and relatives who are established in the industry, has helped her to navigate the world of celebrity easier than her peers. The star replied, "The privilege I have? How? No, genuinely, how? Girl, you're freaking privileged. Don't even give me that shit." When reporter, I have no idea how to say this person's name. I apologize for butchering this. I'm going to guess. I'm not even going to attempt this last name. Nasheen, I think. Nasheen explained she meant in terms of class and wealth and wasn't criticizing her. Ridley went on to suggest that her experiences weren't too dissimilar to those of her co-star John Boyega. Boyega, who plays Finn in the franchise, was raised in South London by British Nigerian immigrant parents and applied for a hardship fund to join theater. That's very different than your parents sending you off to a private arts boarding school and you being trained from a very young age and you having a grandfather that's pretty big in the industry as far as, you know, the London or the English, because English television is very different than American television, but they have, you know, still pretty big in England. So for her to have that as compared to John Boyega, Daisy Ridley didn't have to, you know, get a hardship fund to go there. Her parents could afford it. This is ridiculous. And then these are a bunch of tweets. So let's read a few.
Daisy Ridley is a typical white woman, not wanting to admit their privilege because it shines a light on the complicity in the overall white supremacist system. Gross.
I don't know if that's a woman or a man, but that's the voice I do for these people. Yesterday, no problem with her. She can do no wrong. When I was at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, the second Daisy Ridley came out, there was this girl like having a panic attack. And she's like, oh my God, Daisy, you're so perfect. Oh my God. And it's like, holy crap, calm your shit. It was like she was seeing, you know, the rebirth of Jesus coming onto the stage when Daisy Ridley came out. It's like, this isn't amazing. She's not an amazing actor. She's not going to win any Oscars anytime soon. This isn't Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, level of performance. This is her coming in, you know, looking okay in a costume, and her, you know, it's like a 50-50 toss-up if her mouth's going to be open in the scene or not. She's not amazing. She's not, you know, the one that you're going to have a heart attack over seeing. I don't know why these people freak out, but then next day, she says something that they don't like. All of a sudden, they're all over her. So let's read a little bit more of this.
White women, hi Daisy, do no one any favors by ignoring our white privilege. We still face our challenges, but we have a platform because we're white. And until we start using our platforms to place intersectionality front and center, we are as bad as those who oppress us.
Oh God. Sorry about that. My computer decided to restart in the middle of filming. But anyway, on to the next one.
Brett, talk about how Daisy was tone deaf about white privilege, but seriously, what else can I expect from a white woman?
That's a lot of spelling errors. That's kind of hard to read.
Daisy, with all her rich white privilege, saying there wasn't a difference between her and John growing up, ... disappointing.
And that's from B.
All right. The Mary Jones. Daisy came through at the last minute and said, nah, I wait about to let this white woman outshine me. Let me add my white privilege in. Daisy Ridley said she doesn't have privilege as a white woman.
And then it's a little gif where it's like,
oh God, why did I read this article? What is wrong with white people? This is actually painful to read. How oblivious people are to their own privilege. Why can't people recognize their privilege? Like, we all have it in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so if we all have... this is... They shouldn't have added this, like, last sentence, because if they say we all have it in some way, shape, or form, then why are you bashing Daisy? But... I get it. It's like, oh, okay, you know, she's not owning up to it, but then you're saying that we all have it. So then in that way, you're saying that John Boyega has it. So it's kind of contradictory. But let's move on. These people don't make any sense.
I like Daisy Ridley, but I don't have privilege in the film industry because I went to a performing arts boarding school was certainly a choice stance to take.
And then that's a blue check mark. They're turning on her. They're turning on her hardcore. And you notice all the other films, she kept her mouth closed. She never talked about any of this. We're getting closer to the movie being out. She is trying to be like, get me away from Star Wars. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I cannot wait until after this movie comes out. And they all just, you know, vent about it. They're all just like, oh my gosh. And they let loose, kind of like how after The Phantom Menace came out and Liam Neeson like admitted that he thought that was the end of his career, but obviously it wasn't. But, you know, stuff like that where they're just like, oh my God, you know, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you about my day. You know, it was not easy. But they're doing it. They're opening up all about this.
Daisy Ridley, 27, a Star Wars actress in the movie industry whose best friend is a black man, doesn't know what white privilege is? Please stop lying to yourself. Jesus. Daisy Ridley being a typical witch white girl who refuses to admit her privilege is not surprising to me. I always like her, but I expect nothing from her. Whew, that's harsh. John Boyega, the bloody things I do for Daisy. I don't know, is that his American accent? No, he's British, so, oh God, how do I do this? The bloody things I do for Daisy. Oh God, I cannot do accents, I'm awful at them. We stand best friends. That's what somebody says. No one. White privilege reading that interview. Ugh, another blue check mark. This is not good for her. Oh my God, there's more. Glad she got canceled for denying white privilege exists. And this is the most cringeworthy little rap thing you'll ever watch. Being named Daisy Ridley is inherently a privilege. Okay, that doesn't even make sense. And that's from a blue check mark. Bitchy Daisy Ridley does not understand white privilege and doesn't think she has privilege. And there's a link to the article. Daisy Ridley, when someone tells her that she, as a white woman from a wealthy upper-class background, is privileged, and it's just a little gift. Daisy Ridley does not understand white privilege and doesn't think she has privilege. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice from doing this voice. I thought Daisy Ridley was smart, but she definitely needs some education in white privilege. And what growing up as an ethnic minority on a council estate is really like. Face. Oh my fucking God, this is actually embarrassing. Hashtag Daisy Ridley should be utterly ashamed to believe that her life as a privately educated daughter of an establishment was the same as a son of a Nigerian immigrants growing up on a council estate. It's disgusting that you can't see the privilege. These people are going hard on her, and these are her fans. These are the people that I'm assuming they're talking about this. I'm assuming they like Disney's fan fiction stars. I'm assuming that they like it, and that's why they're all up in wars. Because, I mean, I didn't follow Daisy Ridley. You know, she doesn't have any social media. I didn't care. When I saw that one interview with GQ, I was like, all right, let me start reading this. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, and that's when I made my video. And then again, they're opening their mouths. The closer this movie, you know, comes to being out, and then once it's out, more stuff is going to drop, and it's going to be a shit show. I guarantee you. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to try to finish these. I think that there's some more, but let's see. Also, the Daisy Ridley thing, it's crazy how she said something offensive about white privilege, and people are attacking John Boyega, a black man, for defending her. Really makes you think. I mean, people are going to defend their friends, and that's why if John Boyega is saying the shit I do for Daisy, it's like, yeah, man. Daisy Ridley, 27, a Star Wars actress in the movie industry whose best, I think this one was duplicated. Instead of hoping Daisy Ridley is canceled, let's hope this is a valuable lesson for her and other white people that white privilege is real, and we need to accept that, understand the injustice of it, and work to change it. The latest I can't even say this in this voice, revaluation that boarding school educated Daisy Ridley saw herself as an equal grounds of disadvantage such privileged with John Boyega, a black man who grew up in an estate that had to apply a hardship fund to study theater isn't surprising at all. Blue check mark. Truly hope Daisy now realizes that the fact that she didn't think she was privileged and had never had to think about it is in fact a sign of privilege. Oh my God, I can't do the voice, but I think you guys are getting the picture. Oh, I'm done. And then this is the house. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to see more like the stuff, because Data Racer is really good about collecting, you know, not just stuff from interviews, but the hypocrisy from the shit that all these people say on Twitter. And people say the most stupidest shit on Twitter. I'm not even kidding you. But it's just very obvious that SJWs, they don't care. They have no loyalty. They will turn on you in a split second. The second you say something that doesn't fall into their narrative, they will turn on you like a pack of hyenas. And that's exactly what happened to Daisy Ridley.
when I read that GQ article and I read, you know, about her upbringing, I was like, oh, this makes sense why she got the job. Because you look at her resume, not much there. She was like a corpse. She played a corpse. She was like a random character in a background of something. And I understand when they released, we're casting a new movie and they wanted unknowns. It's like, well, couldn't you get one that could act? Like, why would you go with and also, I'm just like, why couldn't you bring aliens? Why couldn't you have more aliens? But that's aside the point. It's just, it was one of those things where I didn't understand why she got cast. Because it wasn't like her performance in The Force Awakens was, you know, an amazing performance. It was just okay. And it's like you know, she kind of resembles Natalie Portman and Leia. So I was like, okay, they're trying to bring her in as like a Skywalker, and they're trying to get like a person with a certain look, so that way she could fit into the Skywalker family. But then all of a sudden, the next movie, her parents are no one, subverting expectations. Ryan Johnson. But it's just, They loved her, and now they hate her. And it's going to be interesting to see how this shit show progresses and what else she's going to say, because I guarantee you her publicist is going to make her do, you know, a damage control within the next few days. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's handled and to see if all these people switch the flip again and go, oh, no, it's okay, Daisy. We just misunderstood you. We're all fine and dandy and ha ha ha. It's either going to go that way or it's going to get worse. So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds in the next few days. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell. That way you get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.